that a vehicle carrying hazardous waste is dangerous, and setting ablaze a vehicle with hazardous waste, it is very risky to the community. You can have an explosion. The people around that area, I'm imagining there were so many people that had come to burn. Supposing that they set it ablaze and it exploded, you can lose like 100 people there. And that would be very dangerous on the reputation of a company, or the oil companies would be so bad at international scene. The hazard has got metal. So if it explodes and spills on the environment, it is very destructive. It can destroy the environment to the extent that you may take 50 years without reversing that area to its original state because of the hazardous nature. That's why usually in the oil and gas sector, the waste is treated in that manner that it is transported in the containerized vehicles, it in a special way, and taken to the treatment site very far away from where the activities are taking place. In order to manage the impact, hazard can be obnoxious. If there's an explosion, obnoxiousness is the kind of odor that you will get when there is an explosion. Yep. And this one, if inhaled by the community, it can be so toxic to people's health within a given area. And therefore that it is very important to always sensitize the people not to tamper with the activities of the oil and gas sector, because they can trigger a risk that they would not have imagined world over. Oh. And this has happened in very many instances in various countries where you have had explosion of various plants, and people have suffered a lot of negative impacts.
As you've said, it is a normal vehicle, but you've highlighted a lot of dangers associated with that hazardous waste burning. It makes it special that it might need some kind of security, otherwise maybe they couldn't have burnt it.
The most important thing I said is addressing our issues as a community. Addressing any pertinent issues that people think that they are aggrieved from the various works that are happening within the oil and gas installations in different areas. When we do that, communities will give what we call a social license to operate to whoever is operating within that given area. When we do good in the oil and gas sector, communities give you a social license to operate in that given area. So therefore you would not even require any fleet of security people guarding waste in a dirty manner.
A company called Safeway Rightway has been contracted by Total Energies for a couple of years, I think now 2 years, alongside other activities, to sensitize communities about road safety. What could be your comment about this, which means Total has done something to avert these accidents?
That's why there is always what you call an audit. You give someone to do work, you audit the work that they have done, whether it is commensurate to even the mandate you have injected in it there. That's why I would imagine that Total, this is the time now to reactively do an audit on the works that have happened, have been done by Rightway Safeway, whether they have done the right work. Yeah, because I'm imagining they're supposed to engage the people along those roads, and the people should be able to know the dangers of these vehicles. And because that they have been sensitized, I wouldn't have imagined that people are coming to burn the vehicle. Mm. So an audit is very important for you to understand. Back to the point when you tell me that an Ecoserve truck that was carrying hazardous waste knocked a border rider within the Buliisa district, it takes me to the understanding that there could have been either an error, because in health and safety management, there is what we call human error, meaning the driver could have erred during driving and then caused that accident. Or maybe the border rider was in wrong at the time, but also the perspective that there are standards put in place for drivers within Albert and Graben, set up by petroleum companies, are very high. A case in point when we went to Buliisa with a team from United Kingdom, with the Prime Minister and other delegations, we were being told to drive at 20 kilometers per hour. When you go further into the park, crossing the park, you go to 10. Usually, can someone driving at 10 kilometers per hour or 20 kilometers per hour knock a person? Mm. That would be very outrageous. That's why I told you, in project management, what you call reactive monitoring and proactive monitoring. So reactive monitoring is when you do periodic review to understanding whether you are on track based on what you planned. And reactive monitoring, you react according to events that have happened. So that now that this one has happened, we should the company is responsible to do a reactive monitoring to understand why this has happened like this. So if it has happened like that, then they can go back and do there's what we call a plan, do, check, act, and then continue improvement. So you improve if there is any defect, either in implementation of your activities or something you improve going forward.
Finally, what could be your precise message to the oil companies and the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, which is the regulator of the oil sector?
The regulator should also do the monitoring and also get to know, to see whether the safeguards are being implemented properly within the various works of the oil and gas sector within the Albertine Graben of Uganda. And the oil companies should do the right work and also monitor the works of subcontractors and contractors. When you understand the Macondo blowout in the Gulf of Mexico, the BP was contracted to do the drilling, but the issue to do with the cementing of the drill bits down there was done by a subcontractor, and the accident that happened within the Gulf of Mexico was caused by a subcontractor. But the blame will be put on the main contractor. In this case, Total takes the blame for what happened, but that means that they should come round and ensure that the subcontractors they put in place, they abide to the standards that have been set forth. I'm still insisting that the standards that Total have put in place in terms of traffic, they are adequate. But why someone can violate a safeguard that has been put there and then it causes an accident, and then the blame will go to the main what? To the main contractor. So they need to do also periodic reviews on what is happening on ground, and also do refresher trainings of the subcontractors and contractors on site, ensuring that the people are safeguarded within those areas.
Thank you so much, Mr. Robert Biaruhanga, for accepting this interview with us.
Yeah, welcome, sir.